All right, there we are.
Hello.
Hello, the gathering. This is Mike Newman, and it is Friday, and I am with Caroline Hartsell. Hi, Caroline.
Hello. Hey, Mike. Hello, the
Nice to see
gathering.
you. Caroline just put her kids down for a little nap. And
Maybe we'll see.
are they down yet, Caroline?
Maybe not quite down yet, but hopefully they'll stay.
So we might get joined by a special guest. But today we wanted to just make a video for our church and whoever wants to join in as we begin our community-wide fast. So Caroline, a lot of people, especially new believers, may react with like, "Woof, what's a fast? I've never fasted before. It sounds a little weird or even cultish." And so I called Caroline and just said, "Hey, would you help us start this? Would you walk us through a couple practicals and perspective like that?" So we're here to just talk through a couple practicals. So Caroline, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So hey, maybe just first question is, when we sent out the email and it talked about a fast, what were some of the first things that went on in your mind and heart? What was conversations like with your husband? Essentially, why are you fasting?
Yeah. So when we got the email, I think in general, like just this whole year, 2020 was just a tough year for everybody. So I think thinking about starting a new year and wanting to start fresh, and really just wanting to put the Lord first. So both physically and spiritually. And so that was, when I first read it, I was like, that would really be I felt like a good start to our year, and just really taking the time to just spend that time in prayer. And I had never done a Daniel fast before. I haven't. So this is my first time participating in it. So I have tried previously to do more of a complete fast, and just found that it was really just physically, it was kind of tough. And I know it can be tough for everybody, but I liked the idea of this one, and kind of how it, focuses on just doing more kind of healthy foods and that kind of thing. So it really, again, physically kind of can prepare your body to kind of lay aside the things that the excess and things that we often turn to instead seek the Lord. And so when we got the email, I talked to Zane about it, and he was, open to trying it. And so we decided to kind of move forward with trying the Daniel fast.
That's great. I know that for Hannah and I, one of her first thoughts was, yes, like spiritual, but also, oh my word, Mike, we have 36 eggs still in the fridge, and all these loaves of bread, and help shape our minds, Caroline. Like, there's this like physical like reality that we've got to plan for fasting, but we don't want it to become like just a diet or like a nice way to detox our body or something like that.
Yeah.
So help us think through even just the planning of it, the preparation of it, both on a physical and a spiritual level. Like, what were some of the things that you guys, because you guys already started, right?
Yeah, so we started on Monday, so we're just a few days into it. But I feel like we've kind of learned some things the last couple of days. But yeah, I think the weekend before we started it, physically, this couple of things that we tried to kind of prepare. We did try to start kind of cutting back on some caffeine, because the Daniel fast pretty much is, just encourages water to drink. So that was a, adjustment.
Yeah.
But then also kind of thinking about what meals that we would need to do, and just kind of some of the meal preparation. But there's lots of resources out there. So I know that y'all are sending out an email to the church body, and it has a lot of the kind of practical as far as foods to include. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is really trying to focus on what you can have with this Daniel fast. There's so many things that you can have. So I think trying to focus on that instead of having to give up this, kind of that mindset, I think has helped. And it, I think so. Kind of looking through those resources, and then kind of thinking about like what meals we wanted to have, kind of planning that out. So you're not, again, the focus of this is not necessarily so much on the food. You want to be able to kind of have that plan so that you can have more time to spend, reading and praying and spending that time in the Word. And so I think if you can take a day or so, maybe on the weekend, to kind of prepare, maybe making a bigger batches of kind of the staple items that to have on hand might be helpful. And we kind of even wrote out like kind of what we were going to try to eat. And I mean, I've marked through because we've had to change some things, but trying to plan out like breakfast and lunch and dinner, kind of what we were thinking we would have for those meals has been helpful. But again, I think wanting to have the focus on how you can spend that time more with the Lord. And I know they've talked also just about like fasting from, not necessarily just from food, but, from social media or watching your TV at night, or whatever things that you typically may turn to instead of spending that time with the Lord, and finding that time to, just to seek after Him.
Yeah, that's good. Caroline, just to encourage you, like Jesus talks about, he talks about fasting, and he always seems to team it with prayer. Like when you fast, you pray. When you fast and pray, right? And he talks about how to make it a secretive thing. But we see all throughout Scripture like communal fasts, which obviously gives the message that people know about this silent discipline of faith. And so I commend you for even just talking about it in a public manner, like what you guys are doing, because it's helpful. A lot of times, because there's this, it's more of a silent discipline of the faith. If we don't talk about it, a lot of times people just don't know about it, and they don't, right? And so this is really helpful.
Yeah.
So in general, Caroline, when you feel hunger, when you fast, what is your soul doing? Like, how are you praying? How are you connecting the physical hunger feelings to spiritual hunger? How do you do that?
Yeah. I think it's something I'm learning and praying about as we continue this. But because I feel like kind of the first few days have, I kind of feel like I've been so focused on, what we can have. And especially as we're trying to kind of include our kids somewhat in this, they're not completely doing it, but they are, we are trying to limit some of the processed foods and, sugar intake for them as well. But that's obviously with younger kids, but yeah, I think really thinking about how often I, turn towards my coffee or, sweets that I like to have to kind of fulfill me, or, when I'm having a tough time, like sometimes that tends to be what I tend to focus on. And so I think fasting from that has made me more aware, and, just allowing me to talk to the Lord and say, God, I want you to fulfill that need or that desire. I don't want to turn towards other things to fill those voids in our life, because we all have those things that we tend to maybe fill with other things. And so I think fasting in general just kind of opens that up, and maybe will reveal maybe even things I haven't even realized that I'm looking towards instead of to the Lord. And so, yeah, it's been definitely going towards scripture, and just Zane and I have been trying to pray together a little bit more, and singing. I'm trying to have kind of some praise and worship songs going on, or going back through maybe some scripture memory that the girls and I had started on, but we had kind of put aside. So just kind of some of those things that trying to fill my mind with that, rather than, if you feel like early on I had, a headache for the first couple of days, just used to not having caffeine and not realizing maybe how much I depended on that, and so that's definitely getting better. And I've been enjoying some hot water in the morning, doing some, and I'm like, I really like hot water. I don't ever, I've never just picked that instead of my coffee, but yeah, I'm hoping to continue to grow and learn how to depend on him in those moments.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Caroline, just maybe last question. What sort of counsel would you share? Maybe if you have someone in mind, or, just someone asking the questions of upon approaching a fast,
Mm-hmm.
how would you encourage them?
Yeah, I would say, give it a try, even if it's something you've been kind of scared to try in the past. I think give it a try. And even, kind of sometimes when you commit to something, you're like, oh, I gotta, do this full force. But I think, taking it day by day, and reaching, and that's what I hope too, that we can kind of depend on each other and learn from each other what seems to be working, maybe some, recipes that you've tried that were good, because it's a lot different than maybe, how we typically would eat, and spend that time. So yeah, even if it's, again, the fasting is typically with, food, but we can fast from other things too, but trying to find what things are kind of taking the place of maybe where you typically would like to spend more time with the Lord, and kind of how can you redirect that time. And again, I think it's been neat kind of talking with our girls about it, and kind of at first we thought maybe they're a little bit too young, but we kind of started talking to them. They're like, I want to try it too, or I want to, and so I think not limiting what your kids how they may want to be involved, and how your whole family can kind of find ways to fast. Again, it may not necessarily be just from food, but yeah, so I'd say give it a go, and just watch to see how the Lord can meet you in those places.
Excellent. So the gathering, you heard it. Give it a try. Give it a try. And Caroline, my years, even in introducing a fast, would be. Oh, there we are. Can you hear me?
So we kind of cut off. There you go.
Like, oh, I hope that an announcement of a fast wouldn't be received as, man, this is like a Navy SEALs church, or or this is kind of cultish or extremist. And what comforts me is that to fast is a verb. Just like to Sabbath is a verb. And that means that we can work on it. It's not like you just do it and it's perfect. And so, like, just on the heels of your encouragement, like, give it a shot. Like I think that would really comfort people. Like, I'm going to try this. And you know what? If it's not perfect the first 24 hours, I'm going to adjust it here, and I'm going to try it. It doesn't have to be this rigid rigid concept, but
Yeah.
Just a heart desire to know him.
Mm-hmm.
There's for sure much more to be said on it, but I just think this is such a helpful conversation just to talk through some practicals. So
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciate you, and
Glad
we'll see
we
you
could do it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Thanks, Mike. Bye.
Bye.